I know
so
that
as a kid
the
growing
verbal
up,
abuse between my dad and my mom and
we're
me,
really close family,
and the physical abuse between
did a lot
my
of
dad and my
things
mom
together,
and me, it was not
a
my
lot of
fault at all.
hiking, biking.
I realized that
a lot of just like
coming
together,
coming to
being
high
together,
school,
and just being
and
a
finding
family.
Christ, and
when I was
discovering
8,
that
I remember I was
none
at
of
soccer
that was my
practice,
fault at all. That was
I
my
had
dad's
dad
issue,
pick me up,
and that was my
which was a little
mom's issue.
little different because
growing
usually
up.
my mom picks me up from soccer
with
practice.
the verbal abuse, and after the
he
car
informed me
accident,
that my mom had gotten in a really
it was
bad
not my
car
fault
accident,
for the car accident one bit.
And
when
so
my
we went
mom
to the hospital that
hurt
night
her back
to
and
visit
became
her.
a different person,
And
it only made me grow.
and
as a
she
person
wasn't doing good at
find
all,
out
and
who I
she
am.
hurt her back really bad. And
No kid should be put in a situation
we,
where
waited there for
they
a couple
feel
days, and she
guilty
got
for
out,
what
and that's
what
when
they don't have in
my
control
life
of,
changed.
and,
So growing up after
my
that,
dad treating my mom the way that he
mom
did,
had
and
totally changed from
my
the woman
mom
that she used to be,
resorting to
she used
drugs
to be
and
really
alcohol
fit, outgoing
for
woman that was
her
perfect for my
comfort and her
dad.
sanity.
And
she thought
she became this woman that
although I
was
blame
dependent
myself,
on,
it's not my fault
on
at
drugs
all,
and alcohol
because that was all in her
because of
control.
her back
And
injury.
she was a grown woman, and
And,
she knew what she was doing, as well as my father.
she just wasn't there,
knowing that
she wasn't the mom that I knew
the
before.
things that he said to my mom,
And
he knew that they were hurtful. And
my
he knew
dad.
that,
My dad
there'd be
didn't
no positive
understand
to come out of it.
The whole family
And
didn't
so
understand.
there's no way that I can
my
blame
dad
myself
became really
for the things that he
verbally
said
abusive
or
to my
has
mom,
done,
as well
to
as
my-
physically
to my
abusive
mom or to me.
And I just remember always just
there's no
blaming
way that,
myself for
me going on
for
in life.
being
I
at
can
soccer
blame
practice
myself
that day because
for the things
she
that
wouldn't have
he's
gotten
done.
in a car accident if she hadn't
finding
dropped me off at
Christ and
soccer
finding that
practice and gone
forgiveness
shopping
has saved me.
and I always blame myself for
from resorting to drugs and alcohol in high school,
not being the
and
person,
resorting
the
to
cause
those things
of it.
that my mind could
and
escape.
my dad
the reality
became really like physically abusive to my mom,
parents, and
when I was around 9
just
or 10.
finding God and knowing
and
that
I
there's
remember my
forgiveness,
brother
has
holding me
strengthened
back
my relationship
from
with my dad,
calling
me,
911 because
through
of some things
through
happening.
that. My dad and I
just screaming.
have
and
had a
all
stronger
that kind of
relationship
stuff,
now than
and
we ever have
my dad just
had
being very mean
ever,
to my mom,
and by just letting go
and it
of
just
the
like
past
totally
and moving
corrupted
forward with the
my
future,
view
because
on
that's
my,
what I have in control
on
of,
my mom as well as my view
and
on my
that's
dad.
what I can control.
But I put the whole blame on myself for my whole life, and so
As for my brother,
as time went on, my
I always
parents
put the blame
in
on me.
middle
for,
school started
how he
fighting
viewed
more
my
and more, and
family.
it got increasingly bad. And
he viewed my
my
parents,
freshman year of high school,
I
they
always
split
thought
up,
that whatever I told him,
and temporarily,
that was his view.
And during that time,
And
my dad,
I'm not the one that
switched
raised
from
him,
being really abusive,
but I do have an
to my
influence
mom
on
to
him.
being verbally
and,
abusive,
trying to
to
keep
me,
a positive influence is
calling
good.
me, really
growing up
horrible
with my
things,
brother,
just something that a daughter would never want to hear
when
from her father.
We're 4
From
years
the dad
apart.
that she loves
And when
so
I
much,
was
and
8 and
he's
he
been
was
the only
about
strong
4,
point in her whole entire life.
When my mom got in the car accident,
just being mean, and
it
just
affected
calling
me
the
a lot
names that
more
he used to call my
because I was
mom.
older and understood more.
I still would blame myself.
but
For
as we got older, having to be that
putting,
emotional support for him,
I guess,
and just like being there for
a
him.
wall,
I sometimes put the blame on
between
myself
that kind
for
of verbal
being
abuse,
negative, or
and, like,
having
calling
him be the way that
911
he
or
is
getting
now
the authority
with my
involved,
parents,
I
and
was
just
blaming
being
myself
angry
for,
and upset, and
just letting it happen,
just
and
really mad at my
letting that
parents,
emotional
and
like verbal abuse.
now he takes a lot of anger out on
happen.
my mom and my
and
dad
so,
for what they've done, and
as time went on in high
just the
school,
effect that it's had on him. I know it's not
as
my
a family
fault
had
at
just
all.
broken apart,
But
and it was pretty much just me and
I
my brother.
I do
my
think
dad's a
that having
pilot,
a
and so he'd be
positive
gone all the time.
attitude towards
And,
him helps him a lot.
And so he would just be
my
gone
brother,
all the time, and
my brother's kind of in the situation that I was
just
in
me and my brother
in high
and
school
so
now.
It was just really hard,
And
but,
I just hope that he sees that it's not his fault. And I hope he gets to the spot where I've gotten to know that it's not his fault at all. But I also can't put the blame on myself as well. But through it all, individually, all my relationships with my mom and my dad and my brother have strengthened so much because I've had to be the emotional support for my brother, and I've had to be the emotional support for my mom and kind of guide her in her life now without my dad, as a parent. And I've had to be, the support for my father as well, just to show him that that his kids still do love him, although there was a lot of hurt throughout the whole situation with my parents, and just showing him that I still love him and still care about him, even though bad things have happened. And so throughout it all, although it sucked, it definitely made me into the person that I am now, and has formed me and sculpted me to where I am today.